The one and only man who we know as Martin Luther King Jr. was actually born with the name of Michael.
Martin Luther King had 4 kids, but sadly Yolanda King, one of MLK's daughters, died at the age of 51, supposedly due to heart problems, but the other 3 are still alive to this day.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. protested against the Vietnam War. One of his last speeches was focused on the Vietnam War.
This is one of his quotes from his last speech, Beyond Vietnam. Recent statements of your executive committee are the sentiments of my own heart.
And I found myself in full accord when I read its opening lines. A time when silence is betrayal, and that time has come for us in relation to Vietnam.
Martin Luther King Jr. is known for his I Have a Dream speech, called for equality and freedom, and became one of the defining moments of the civil rights movement.
Martin Luther King Jr. was named after a very important man who was also a protester. Martin Luther King's name makes him a powerful protester as well.
Martin Luther King Jr. believed that peace and economic justice were imperative to his fight for human rights.
His tireless work advocating for the end of war and nuclear weapons and to lift Americans out of poverty continues to inspire activists today.
It's a pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free.
Martin Luther King Jr. shows that people can fight only with words and can still have a powerful impact. Many things that we now take for granted may be the result of Martin Luther King Jr. Some of the things that Martin Luther King Jr. opened the doors to are pluralism, religious liberty, and self-government.
We come here tonight to be saved from that patience that make us patient with anything less than freedom and justice. This is one of Martin Luther King Jr.'s great quotes.
I oppose the war in Vietnam because I love America. I speak out against it, not in anger, but with anxiety and sorrow in my heart. And above all, with a passionate desire to see our beloved country stand as a moral example of the world. This was a call made by Martin Luther King Jr.
Martin Luther King Jr. is very important to history, so important that he even has his own day. He is so amazing and has changed so much. He has made the world truly a better place.
Martin Luther King Jr. helped to get the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 passed. Each of these bills helped African Americans access the civil rights across the country. We continue to learn today from Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches and writings.
Thank you for watching my documentary about Martin Luther King Jr.